Hi everyone, welcome to the Fab 4 Crafty Tools collaboration. This is hosted by Stamp Girl, who is Paige, and myself, or I guess proper English would be to say me. And it's just a small group of us, but every month we try to use our dies, punches, embossing folders, and masks, otherwise known as stencils. So I'm going to very quickly show you the main things I used, and then I will get right into the cards because I have 6 cards for you today. So my starting point was I wanted to use the whole Ornate Thanks suite from the annual catalog, current annual catalog that expires at the end of April. I don't remember which dies go with what, but I did use the Ornate Thanks stamp set. I did use this die and this die on, and I think those are the only ones I used out of there on 1 or 2 cards. I did use this die, this die, this die, and this die on various different cards. And I'm pretty sure I used this die, and I know I used this die. I can't remember if I used that one or not. And I did use on the first card actually this stamp. The last card I used this stamp, and in various ones I used the little flower, and that I used on the envelopes actually a lot. And then I also brought in these are the Tasteful Labels dies, just this large stitch circle on the last card. And also on the last card, these are the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I use these 2 scalloped rectangles. I did bring in the Butterfly Gala stamp set with this stamp, which actually I don't think I had used that one before. And of course, to go with that is the Butterfly Duet punch, so I did use a punch. I used a couple punches. I used 2 embossing folders. In the first several cards, I mostly used Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder in the annual. And on the last one or 2, I used, I think 2, I used Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And then on 1 card, I used this Perennial Flower punch. It's in the annual catalog. It used to have a stamp set that went with it. I don't know if it does anymore. And then I also used the 1/2" circle punch, which is current right now. And I used that with this, it actually fits right inside that stitch layering. So let me put them out of the way. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's start with the cards here. Here's the first one. It's a standard A2 card. This stamp is from the Ornate, I can never remember the names, Ornate Style. And I colored it in with Old Olive Light and Dark, Calypso Coral Light and Dark, because this is terracotta tile, and we don't have, as is this and this, we don't have markers for those. And this is a combination of Mango Melody mixed with Cinnamon Cider. And because we don't have Bumblebee. And then these are Light and Dark, so Saffron. These are dies from one of those Ornate sets. And this is the terracotta tile ribbon that's in the Ornate Garden combo pack, which also has Old Olive, which I used on one of the last cards, the last card actually. So 152479. And these are the Champagne Rhinestones in the annual catalog. And these are the in color 2019 to 21 butterfly gems that are in the current annual. And they'll be retiring because those colors are retiring. So I used several. I only have like 2 terracotta tile ones left, I think. Yeah, and I have to put another dot under that. And this is the Ornate Thanks Ornate Garden embossing folder. So I did use an embossing folder and dies and another die on the inside here. This one doesn't cut out it just, I mean, it cuts out the design, and then thanks my friend on the inside. No sentiment on the outside. So that's the first. Oh, and this is bumped up. On several of these cards, I used foam adhesive sheets to put larger pieces down. I did not cut this out with a die. I don't know. The size wasn't right or something. I forget. And then on the envelope for this one, I did just stamp the little flower on the front and on the back flap. And that's all I did with that. And then the next one is very ornate. I embossed gold foil sheet in the full size of the card front, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. The designer paper I cut with one of the dies, the larger die. Let's see if I have that paper to show you what's on the other side of it. I don't know. I'm getting, yeah, it was this larger daisy paper, which I didn't use today, but this is the pattern on the paper. I'm getting down towards the end of my Ornate Garden Designer Series paper, which is okay because it's probably retiring at the end of April. This is die cut in Whisper White. We're white. You'd get basic white now. This is actually from the Forever Greenery trim combo pack, and I finished it. So that has to go down in the recycle. And what I did is I glue dotted that onto the back of this, and then I used another piece of that adhesive sheet to go across under here after I heat embossed Thank You from the Ornate Thanks stamp set. And inside I also heat embossed For Everything, so thank you for everything, and just more of the designer paper under there. So, and the envelope on that one I just left blank because I didn't want to heat emboss the envelope. I was lazy by that point. Now the next cards, I have this box of envelopes that's really old, and they're sealed, you know, I don't know, they're 6 3/4, number 6 3/4 envelopes. They are about 6 3/4 by 3 3/4. Yes, that's about what they are. Well, it says it right here, 3 5/8 by 6 1/2. Sorry. Anyway, so I made cards to fit in those, and here's the first one. So the card, let me just show you to make sure I get it right, because I hope I got it right. Yeah, I know I have them because they fit. So these are 6 1/4. Which way? 6 1/4 by 3 1/2. And so you have to cut them 6 1/4 by 7, and then you score at, oops, I got a little thingy not come off all the way. Then you score it at 3 1/2. Okay. Now on this one, I used several dies. I used a die to cut this out. I used a die to cut this border, and I used a die to cut this design. So let me find those. So this cuts out the entire image, and it was actually too long for an A2, which is another reason I wanted to do a little bit longer card, and it's perfect on these cards. And then here's the border, and it fit pretty much right. Now the problem with this is you have to run it through the machine straight, which isn't the best thing to do, and it just goes through the big machine, the Big Boss machine, straight. So yeah, so those are from the Ornate Borders dies, and I don't remember which stamp set goes with what, but I did use those. And then the frame is this one here for the thanks. So I stamped in Old Olive and also terracotta tile. This is the terracotta tile scalloped linen trim, which of course will be retiring, and I still have quite a bit of that one. Now here I stamped on Bumblebee, because this background color is Bumblebee. I stamped with terracotta on Bumblebee using the Butterfly Gala, this butterfly set. It's one stamp, and I punched them out with the punch, the Butterfly Duet punch, like I showed you, number 148523. That is available still, at least through the end of April. And then inside I didn't want the white to show. I tried it with the white there and I didn't really like it. I also tried it putting the designer paper down all the way to the bottom there. I didn't like that either. So I just left it so it was tone on tone. And then just put an extra strip of paper up here, and I cut this a little short. So that's what I did on that. And on the envelope I did those swirly designs. So I think that came out really pretty with the butterflies. These little, I'll call them mini slimlines. They're my favorite ones. I put a lot of champagne rhinestones on. And I also put Winkostella on the two butterflies' wings, which you probably can't tell because this stupid camera keeps getting blurry. But anyway, I did. And then these are out of those butterfly gems from the annual catalog. So the next one is done. These first three are on terracotta tile card bases. Again, 6 1/4 by, I'm sorry, whatever I said originally. 6 1/4 by 3 1/2. So then I used this paper. I die cut this. I again punched the butterflies. I used some more scalloped terracotta tile trim. I did use the Ornate Garden embossing folder on this bottom die cut piece. And I stamped I'm in Mint Macaron and So Grateful in terracotta tile. And the butterflies are stamped in terracotta tile on Mint Macaron, and then using that same punch, the Butterfly Duet. And both of these pieces are bumped up on the foam adhesive sheets, which are number 152815, because it just gives you a nice firm even layer. And then inside I used a die again. I stamped that little flower, and for all you do, I'm so grateful for all you do, which I meant to stamp in Mint Macaron, but oh well, it works. And then on that envelope I did the same swirly design thing. Okay, the next one is this one. This is the back of, I'm going to show you, well, hang on. Okay. It's the back of this paper with the daisies and has this on it. And I think this looks pink, but it's like light and dark terracotta tile. The envelope has those same swirly things. So I did not die cut these papers, I just cut them. So this one is 6 1/8 by 3 3/8, and then the designer paper is 6 by 3 1/4. This I die cut out. I stamped Seriously Thanks. And this is another punch. It's the Perennial Flower punch. And what I did is I embossed a piece of terracotta tile with the, there you can see it, Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder, which is item 152718. And I just glued them together. Now I used one retired product. Oh, well, before I tell you about that, I took a finger dauber with our Whisper White craft stamp pad, and I took a finger dauber and just did around the edges of that flower with the white to make it a little lighter, tone it down a little bit. And here I use the polka dot tulle ribbon from the annual catalog. It's number 146912. I don't know if any of these that are in the annual will carry over again. That one's been in it for 2 years, so I don't know. I hope so, but we never know. So this is the one retired product. It was in, I can't even remember when it was. Last year's annual, maybe? But it's these beaded pearls, which I really wish they would have carried over. I love these. And they just fit right in with this card and perfect in that flower, so I went ahead and used them. And inside I just put "You're Amazing" in terracotta tile. I didn't die cut these, so as for this collab I used embossing folder, punch, die. The only thing I didn't use today is the stencil mask. Alright, so that same paper, now I'm going to use, the last card is with this side. Alright, and this is the card. And this is the daisy one. But I didn't use the daisy punch because it just, I don't know, it wasn't working right. So here is that stitched circle out of the stitched Tasteful Label dies. And here are the scalloped rectangles out of the Stitch So Sweetly. Yeah, Stitch So Sweetly dies. They're both in the annual catalog. Here's the Old Olive ribbon from the Ornate Garden Ribbon Combo Pack. It's these two, terracotta tile and Old Olive, are in the same pack. And then this is the 1.5 inch circle punch. See, I told you it fits. I kind of got it glued a little bit crooked. And now the stamping here, this Hello Beautiful is actually out of that same Butterfly Gala stamp set. It's right here. And the inside sentiment I used, You've Been on My Mind, which I'll show you in a minute, out of that same set. This is out of the Ornate Style stamp. And what I did is, this is bumped up on dimensionals. I did wrap this ribbon all the way around this piece first, glued it down in the back, put a glue dot under here after I kind of tied out the start of the knot, and then I just tied a real bow this time here, which I think turned out okay. And then these are Bumblebee out of the In Color enamel dots that are in the annual for the 2020 to 22 in colors. And then here's the inside, more paper, designer paper, and I stamped You've Been on My Mind in Old Olive, same as this. And this is colored in Old Olive, Light and Dark, Mango Melody, and Cinnamon Cider mixed on the inside. And then I just did a little bit of Light and Dark So Saffron, but I left the tips white because these daisies are white. So I think that came out cute. And on the envelope I did the swirls, but I did them in Old Olive this time. So those are my cards. If you're interested in any products I've shown, they're currently still available with the exception of the beaded pearls. And this is the host code to use for any order under $150 in the month of March. Let me put these over here like this. Oops. We'll put those three here. And I will try, although it'll probably be later this afternoon, to have all the item codes down below so that you have an easier time of, you'll just be able to click on the item codes to order anything I've shown except those beaded dots, and they'll be available through the end of April while supplies last. I can't guarantee if something sells out that they'll reorder. It depends on if it's going to be carried over or not, and we don't have that information yet. We don't. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to let you go. Please visit the other people in the collaboration. We're only required to make one card, so don't expect 6 from other people, but you might see people making multiple. Sometimes I only make one and other people make 20, so anyway, it's whatever we want to do as long as we're using punches, dies, embossing folders, and masks, and they don't have to be used all at the same time, but I did manage to use punches, dies, and embossing folders, 2 embossing folders. All right, everyone, talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace.